All right, welcome back to Eugene's #1 podcast.
What up, Eugene?
I, of course, am your co-host, Lars. I am joined, as always, by my host here, Dan. What's going on today, Dan?
This is Eugene's #1 podcast.
Thank you for your input, Dan. That was excellent. We have a very special guest today, and we're just going to go ahead and go right to the intro music for that guest, and here it comes. This is another
Cancer,
Capricorn,
Gemini,
Sagittarius,
Taurus,
Scorpio,
Aries,
Libra,
Pisces,
Virgo,
Aquarius,
and Leo.
That's pretty good.
this is our guest, Leo, who is a local firefighter and resident. Is astronomy the fake one? Astronomy or astrology? Astronomy.
Ooh, I don't know. Both.
You're our resident, the fake one expert.
Got it.
Today we're talking about the eclipse,
Okay.
the full eclipse of my heart that happened in Eugene. So of course we're talking about how that's going to affect us spiritually and emotionally.
Okay.
And we wanted to hear about that from you, but first we're going to go to another segment. I'm just going to line up another audio file here because I've got all these audio files, and we're going to this one.
The peer-reviewed beer review.
Longtime readers of the peer-reviewed beerreview.tumblr.com may actually recognize Leo as the original co-author of the beer review. Now, of course, it is expanded. There are many people who do reviews. Mm-hmm. But Leo is our first. Why don't you pick up a can and tell us what we're drinking today, Leo?
I will do just that.
We are all wearing our Eclipse glasses in the studio, but we had to pick them up to get to the beer part because we can't actually see with the glasses on.
So today we will be reviewing the Chronosphere Blonde Ale by Ecliptic Brewing.
This is clearly a marketing gimmick for the Eclipse, and this label is actually stuck on to another beer can, and we did pull the label off earlier.
Yeah. So this can that I have is actually, it's got some weird symbols like from the movie Signs.
Dude, it's like crop circle shit. It looks like a different design of the Eclipse. It's got the same star stuff. We think they misprinted the can and then printed this because this other label is super cheap and really weird texture printed onto it.
Oh, man.
My thing is, though, and I just thought of this.
Yeah.
The glue, how strong that glue is, I kind of think...
Are you supposed to get high with it?
I think you're supposed to crush the beer real fast and then immediately, peel this wrapper off and huff the glue.
Peel. And it really is quite strong. Like it smells like rubber cement. I mean, it is. I feel like you could get high on this glue pretty easily.
Did you ever play with those toys called creepy crawlers as a kid? Used to bake your own rubber bugs and stuff. And this smells like the chemically mix that you turn those bugs into. Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't say I ever
I think I'm enjoying
played
it.
with creepy crawlers.
Yeah, this is definitely a manufacturing error. I think they tried to make a nice design, and then someone in the factory was like, how's anyone going to know this is Ecliptic Brewing beer? Because there's no label.
Thank you, Lars.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this is just a different beer relabeled for the Eclipse. Boy, I tried to pour this into glasses, and we just got foam. We have glasses of foam.
But we got a lot of head.
There's a lot of...
What?
This is the most head action I've gotten in a while. It's all in a beer.
My thing about it, though, is it's from Ecliptic Brewing, and I've never heard of them.
I don't think they're real. They can't be. This has got to be a plant.
No, they're real. Actually, I was at Beerstein a couple months ago, and they had their premiere.
Oh!
So they're brand new.
They're recently new, yeah.
Here's my thing. Someone is trying to say that the economy was going to lose $700 million for the Eclipse, which is silly. I mean, I sort of get it because there was no one at Off the Waffle today, but I mean, is there anyone there ever? More on that later. But like, we're wearing Eclipse branded glasses, drinking Eclipse branded beer. Apparently, people paid like $1,800 a night for hotels in whatever city in Oregon where you could actually see it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just think there's a lot of money in eclipses, and we should start planning for 2024 because let's break in the dough.
There's one in 2024?
Yeah, there's another.
What?
There's like one in 2019, but then like the next Oregon visible one is 2024. It's not even that far.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, 7 years, bro. Let's go.
Oh, well, wow. I had heard that the most recent eclipse visible to us was like 40 years ago.
Yeah, but the next one's in like 7 years. As far as I recall, I could be wrong, but I think the next one's in 2024.
Global warming.
Yeah.
Culprit.
Time for me
Too much sun in this shitty town.
I got to manufacture my own fake glasses so I can make a profit.
I will say,
Absolutely.
Dan has now removed the label fully from his beer. The can, without the label, looks brilliant. It smells so gross. Could you go ahead and get a glue high for the audience real quick, Dan?
I can only taste the glue now.
Well, my foam has settled, so I'm going to go in for a sip here. If you join me, Leo, we can go ahead and review this beer.
Absolutely.
Now, I had one of these yesterday, so
Well.
it tastes different in the can. It has a little more flavor. It is hoppier.
Oh yeah.
In the can, it had the most generic possible beer taste. This is a blonde
It's a blonde ale, yeah.
blonde ale, and then it says session ale somewhere else on the can.
What does it even mean?
I don't know what session ale means because like IPAs and blondes, I have no clue. I see it all over the place.
I think session refers to the amount of ounces in it.
Oh, but then aren't like most beers, if they're that size, session ales?
They must be.
Gross.
Yeah. I mean, blondes, I believe, are supposed to be a lighter, obviously, blonde because they're yellow.
Yeah, this is pretty heavy though. This tastes a bit like an IPA. In the can, it was very generic. It was the most generic beer taste on the planet.
Okay.
Which was weird because I don't think I could possibly rate that. Like, I think you have to have at least some kind of unique flavor to get a star in my scale.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you like the beer that I gave 0 stars to, I hated the taste of, but at least it had a unique flavor. And this to me has really not much unique flavor. That's where I'm at. How do you feel about this, Leo? Give me all of your description, and then give me your rating system.
I still don't have a rating system. You're
going to come up with one now.
up and down, left and right.
Because I give this 2 out of 5 Lars.
Wow, that's a high score.
No, it's not. It's unimpressive. It tastes like a very basic IPA. And you know what? I haven't given something a lower score than 2.5 or 3 yet. And I think this is the one that's going to do it.
It's time to do that. Yeah.
2 out of 5 Lars.
You can, for me, as some of you might know, I'm not a huge IPA guy.
Sure.
And you can taste that. I can appreciate the flavors of an IPA,
Sure,
the hoppiness of it. But this particular one is really underwhelming to me because you can taste that hop flavor, and then it falls flat. There's nothing.
This is just hops. Like the thing with an IPA is that there's 2 really distinct flavors, and you kind of enjoy the second kind of more floral flavor because of the initial really bitterness. This is kind of just hops across the board.
It's hops and then flat, and there's nothing impressive about it.
If you had to rate this on a scale of blank out of blank somethings,
It could be anything.
it could be literally, Dan will do the graphic.
I'll give it 1 out of 5 Pabst.
Wow. So this is not a Blue Ribbon beer then.
Wow. And Pabst, they claimed their ribbon like over 60, 70 years ago, and they just held on to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
They are, clutching that thing tighter than...
Is it still the original recipe? Has it gone downhill since they got the ribbon? That's what I want to know.
What if it's the same recipe and just a different ratio? Would that be the same recipe?
No. Okay, so I'm going to give this the highest score, the highest number of points out of the 3 of us. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to give this a full... Hold on, let me try one more sip.
You know what I really give this? That's what I give it.
That is an underwhelming burp.
That's an underwhelming burp.
Yeah,
for
that
an
was-
underwhelming beer.
Yeah, I'm tempted to do a better burp, but I don't have one in me.
I actually was trying to do a good one. That's what came out. So, but it's it's fitting.
It's appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give this 3.5 out of 300 stars.
You can't do halves. I don't.
I'm making you do it.
Fill in 1/2 star.
You're always telling me I should use fractions or decimals in my system.
Fuck.
Don't tell him
My
that.
system there's decimals now.
my
3.52. God damn it. Out of 300 possible stars.
Well, that's that.
That's Dan's afternoon.
Play that theme in reverse.
Yeah.
No, we
I
can't.
don't have that
We
technology.
don't have that. It's impossible.
We don't have that ability.
Oh, let's go to a local Facebook page.
Oh, we're gonna go on a Facebook page.
Okay.
And see what the locals in the Lane County area have to say about something.
So I have went and liked a bunch of local pages in Eugene to try to, because there's stupid comments on Facebook, so I just want to get some of them. And this is a controversial topic.
Oh, no.
Because I'm not going to read this whole post, but basically the Eugene police posted that a woman in her late 20s ended up fighting off an attacker. Like a guy grabbed her. They struggled. She fought back. So she just fought him. She didn't have pepper spray or a gun or anything. And so there were a lot of people posting how some people were posting about pepper spray and bear spray, and someone said hornet spray, some kind of like bee killing spray.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Well, they said it's good for up to 20 feet, where pepper spray is only good for a foot. Like you can get someone from way farther away, but then someone else was like, yeah, but you can't really fit it in a purse. I don't know how big the spray is. So.
Those bee cans are pretty huge.
The cans are probably about 10 inches tall.
Yeah.
So obviously, I want to know your guys' opinions, but what I really wanted to share was Blake's insightful comment, because here's what Blake said. He said, "Wish America operated like countries where this stuff isn't common. I don't need to list the proven methods."
What does that mean?
Please list them. List a few examples, Blake.
Is he saying she should have had a gun on her? Because I think most other countries don't, except for like the war-torn countries.
Australia and England, which have pretty low crime rates, have no guns across the board. Their police don't have guns.
Yeah.
I'm not actually positive about Australia, but England for sure, right? So then she be even less capable of? Because it's not like the guy attacked her with a gun. He was just bigger. Like that's all he had going for him.
Yeah.
That's pretty much our whole gender.
Was she at her home or was she out?
She was out walking between two parks, and it was like 1 a.m. or something.
Oh, I mean that's not her fault in the slightest. But I didn't know it was at 1 a.m. when. Depending on what part of Lynn County you're in.
It's a sketchy time.
That's when I go outside. I mean, you shouldn't be leaving your home when I'm out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know. I'm just so curious what these proven methods are and what these countries are really.
Yeah.
It's throw a dart at the entire continent of Asia. They probably have more harassment towards the female gender than we do. Like just, that's a blanket statement that might be vaguely racist, and I just did it.
It's possible. I mean,
we have less trains in general, so we have less train gropings than Japan.
True.
We should be like Somalia, where you can have a gun on you, like every good citizen, and it's just perfect. It's a perfect
See, I thought you were going to say
social climate there.
We should just have, more kind of like old-timey naval battles and pirates and stuff.
Oh, I'm down for that too.
Yeah, who isn't, right? Somalia is clearly doing it correct.
Yeah,
correct.
I'd be a pirate.
Oh.
Unfortunately, you're not a pirate.
No.
You're a firefighter.
Yeah, I am. It's a close second.
Dan had some questions about firefighting before we recorded. Let's see if he remembers them.
We'll see. So how does one put out a fire? Because I have no idea.
Well, I guess it depends. Like, are you an actual firefighter, or are you one of those guys that puts on those yellow banana suits and
like a garbage piece of shit summer firefighter kind of guy?
Goes into the woods.
Well, now which one are you? Do you fight wildfires or do you fight like more kind of structural fires?
I can't say just because I live in the rural area I do all of it, because even professional structural firefighters still do wildland. Like around Eugene and whatnot, we can be called out for conflagrations, which are just big-ass fires, like one of the 16 that we currently have burning in Oregon.
If someone called you out for a wildfire if someone called you out for a wildfire,
yeah,
would you go? Like right now, today?
Right now?
Yeah.
Potentially.
In the middle of this podcast, like your bat signal goes up. They shine an axe on the sun. That's an eclipse joke, and then you just go.
No.
You have the glasses. You'd know if there was an axe.
Yeah, I would just look and be, oh, that is an axe symbol or a penis. I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell from that distance.
It's pretty hard. But yes and no. We are usually given when we're on conflagration watch, which is actually a funny story. Out in Dexter, we talked to the PIO for the Wilson fire or Wilkes fire that is burning near Fall Creek. And they were saying, PIO is Public Information Officer.
Thank you.
They go around and tell everyone what's going on, and they evacuate people in homes that are in danger. And we actually might be called out to help evacuate houses, which is pretty extreme for that area.
Okay, so now I know a little bit about your career,
Mm-hmm.
because we hang out sometimes.
Yes.
You currently are a sleeper at the Dexter Fire Station,
Mm-hmm.
and you are a volunteer, so you don't get paid. You told me you get some kind of like tax credit or something.
We usually get a stipend at the end of the year.
Okay.
All departments do it a little differently, but we get like a Christmas bonus is what we call it. So at the end of the year, we get a little stipend. It's like $5 for every call we've gone on in the year, which is nice at the end of the year to get like a $500 check.
Now, that's for all the work you're doing in the year.
Yep.
But someone who fights wildfires can make $20,000 to $100,000 during one summer, depending. I know it's not that easy to make $100,000, but I do know that they some of the people who've been doing it for a while who do the hazardous stuff. So my question is, if you get called to do a wildfire and you go out to help, do you get paid for that, or are you still fucking volunteering? Because why would you volunteer for that shit?
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah, we get paid. So if I was called, I was busy. I had prior work engagements, but
He was getting drunk.
I wasn't, unfortunately. I was
Oh.
doing other work. But on Saturday, Friday and Saturday, we were called to the neighboring town of Lowell to do structure protection. And we could volunteer, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, to do it, but we're being paid anywhere from $18 to $25 an hour.
Ooh, that's not bad.
For us, what we would be doing is pretty much if the fire didn't overrun everyone and all hell broke loose, we're just sitting in a fire truck for 6 hours making money.
Do they provide those high caloric salty meals for you guys?
No, we have to buy those ourselves.
Question.
Yes.
Do government employees have to pay taxes? Because wouldn't that be kind of silly? Because the taxes are paying you, so you just be paying it back, and then you're just paying yourself. You could just pay yourself directly instead of paying the government.
No, yeah, we have to pay taxes.
Shucks.
They pay us, and then they go, they take it out of your.
They take your money, give it to Bill. They take some of Bill's money, they give it to Tom.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
You mentioned earlier that you've had to knock on people's doors and tell them to evacuate.
So myself personally, I've never been on a wildfire that I've had to go evacuate, but we will do that.
What do you do in a situation where old man Johnson, he's lived there 45 years. He don't want to leave his porch.
Well, then you're probably going to burn to death.
All right.
Mad respect.
That's not even being jaded. That's like, sir, you need to leave right now, and we're telling you have to leave. And no, I want to stay. Well, I just want to inform you that if this fire overruns us, we will be driving away, watching you burn in the rearview mirror.
I mean,
so
I think
please and thank you.
A lot of people chose to drown in New Orleans, so I think that's fine if they want to do that.
Some do.
Some captains want to go down with their ship.
Are we allowed to make Katrina jokes?
That's not a joke. It's a fact.
Oh, can we just for reference? Can I make a Hurricane Katrina joke in the future?
When did it happen?
2005. I think it's been 12
That's
years.
a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to make a joke.
I think so.
I think it's
I
fair
don't
game.
have a joke planned or lined up.
10 years later is probably fine.
Okay.
Except 9/11.
I thought it was like 26 years of AIDS, so I don't know. I don't know what the scale is like Hurricane Katrina versus AIDS. I'm moving my hands like it's a scale. I don't know what the level of comparison is. People who were in Hurricane Katrina and never had AIDS might think it was as bad. People who've had AIDS and weren't from New Orleans might think differently. That's a controversial thing. Email us. momentsgostudios@gmail.com. Tell us which one you think is worse.
I think what happened was Katrina didn't get any aid.
I seem to recall people being mad at a certain Republican president because of that.
Yes.
But ever since other things have happened, people are like all nostalgic for that era. So give us the Southern guy back. At least he was cute.
Yeah, and obviously I was a bit younger when our president George Bush Jr. was in office. But my thing about it is I was thinking the other day and saying, he doesn't look that bad.
He doesn't. I mean, you have to remember, he did do that whole kind of a little bit, all of the thing that we did in the Middle East. He probably caused several 100,000 deaths or something. That's a completely made up number. I have no clue. But you could also say that that was going to happen regardless, and that might be more of a Cheney thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to say whether or not he certainly Twitter was invented in like 2007 or 2006 or something. So he wasn't tweeting for most of it, if any of it, and that's better than our current situation.
Okay, but have you seen his dog paintings? I mean, come on.
Is this like a low-key Hitler reference?
No, he's straight up paint.
Oh,
Like,
because
he's a
Hitler had
painter.
dog paintings.
He paints dogs, yeah.
Just make a comparison here.
Well, the only reason I was looking at that is because I don't remember nearly as much strife among the citizens of America during his presidency, or even Obama's. Like, yes, Obama was a Democrat, and yes, there were racists and whatnot, but I'm just thinking of. Well,
I mean, okay, so this is going to be completely possibly unfactual because I also don't remember it. If you remember everything about the Vietnam protests in the 60s,
Okay.
I'm fairly confident, and this could be inaccurate, that the 2001 protests against the Iraq War were the largest protests, certainly in U.S. history and possibly ever against the war. So,
true.
That's a pretty big deal because people don't ever shut up about that girl putting the flower in the gun. Like, that shit is constantly happening.
And that was a thing that we were, as a unified country, we were against. And now, like where it is now, the protesting and the shit that's going on is where it's split.
Well, now we have fucking Nazis, so it's so confusing. But there were 0 Nazis in the entire Iraq War. Like, I think the general idea is, regardless of what they're doing, always support the troops because it's not them pulling the strings.
Right.
But even the people pulling the strings thought they were doing the right thing and, thought, like, getting oil might be good for our country or whatever. But none of those people were Nazis. We didn't bomb any Jews. That's not true. We probably bombed a couple Jews. There are some Jews in the Middle East.
Probably a few dozen.
But we didn't put any, specifically Jews in gas chambers. I don't actually
When you
know
say
that.
we, Lars, is it the royal we, or is that your last name's very German?
As a former member of the Bush administration cabinet, I did not torture anyone. I did not know there was a torture program.
Good to know.
Waterboarding is excellent. I highly recommend it.
Whoa.
He wasn't the
He means boogie
the torturer.
Yeah.
He was the
What's that?
torturee.
I can't remember which comedian does that. The waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay sounds awesome. like out of context. It just sounds like a great time, right? Like, dude, let's go waterboarding at Guantanamo, dude.
It's a good name with a bad reputation.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Ooh, maybe I'll call my album "Waterboarding at Guantanamo Bay" just to redeem it a little bit.
You definitely get some attention making that your album name.
There's no bad press, right?
Well,
That might be bad press. Is that bad press?
That's probably bad press.
So I shouldn't call my album 9/11 too.
Hey, say hypothetically a podcaster had to use the bathroom. How do we transition that?
I think it would be time for the break music. And we're back from Dan Takes a Shit break.
That was not a shit.
2 cups of coffee, Dan. I beg your pardon.
2 cups of coffee and a previous Eclipse Brewing beer.
That's true. You pre-gamed this podcast.
It's weird how the body works.
So here's the deal. Since Off the Waffle, or as some people call it, Awful the Waffle. God,
As
that's
you
so
call it.
stupid.
I'd call it the overpriced waffle.
Since they changed their hours to be 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., I don't know anyone who's really been in because I live like 2 blocks away, but you have to be awake before 2 p.m. to get there. Or like if you ever work on a day, you can't go to Off the Waffle. Those are just the rules. No one gets off of work before 2. And if they do, they're what are you working like a 3 a.m. shift? You're probably just gonna come home and die because you had to get up at 2.
Wow.
Most likely,
That's
yes.
my review of 3 a.m.
That's your
shifts.
Wait, was that the whole thing?
No,
on-
okay. So here's the thing. So
because that was very little.
I tried to go to the Glenwood because I wasn't, I was acting suave and not really caring about the eclipse. So I came out like 20 minutes out of the house after showering, like 20 minutes before the eclipse climaxed at 10:15 or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like 9:50. And I tried to go to the Glenwood to have some breakfast. Leo would not join me. He was being a little bitch. And they were all standing outside, and the lady who was there said she could get me some coffee or something, but both their chefs had left. And she didn't really clarify if they had like quit or walked out or if they wanted to do the eclipse and come back. I think they might have just like been scheduled to work during the eclipse and been like, fuck this and quit. I don't know.
Yeah. How dare they walk out for a once in their lifetime natural phenomenon?
Sure, but for such a small local business, like why don't they just not open till 1 p.m. or something, you know? Or like, because everyone else who was working there was standing outside. I get it. You know, the chefs have to be stuck in the kitchen, whatever. So I went over to Off the Waffle. Okay. And they were open and they were all kind of sitting outside, but they took my order and made me some waffles. And I got a waffle and a small orange juice. And I know orange juice at some places is expensive. It might have been like $3 for the orange juice, but the total was $13.50.
Whoa.
Which is out, because Off the Waffle, it used to be like $7.50 for a waffle. And even that was kind of expensive because it was a single waffle with toppings, but it's not a lot of food. But the food still tastes good. And there was no one anywhere. There were some people in the parking lot looking at the eclipse. There was no one in the restaurant. There was no one anywhere. It was the nicest meal experience I've ever had. And I wish there was a solar eclipse every day so that there would be no one in any of the restaurants I go to.
But that's like wishing it's Christmas every day. I think you might regret it.
I think people might get bored of it and they might start going back to the restaurants. And if it was like Groundhog's Day, these restaurants would go out of business because they wouldn't make any money because there'd be no customers. But I would have the greatest time just by myself in a restaurant. That's like rich person goals, is like get rich enough to build your own restaurant that doesn't have any profit at all because it only runs for you and you're the only person who's ever allowed to be in it.
Oh my God.
Well, it's like the bad guy from Daredevil, except he had a bunch of security guards who were acting like customers, but
Kingpin, right?
Kingpin, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is excellent because I think he built that restaurant for that date, so it's like that's wealthy. Not even to have your own restaurant, but to build your own restaurant in like a week.
Yeah.
If it sounds like I hate Off the Waffle, that's not true. I think their waffles are delicious. I just think it's absurd to pay $9 for a waffle with an egg on it and a piece of basil.
I think so. And like they are delicious and they're really cool, but I miss the original Off the Waffle in the Whitaker was like it was like someone's porch with a Dutch door and you walked up and took your order there and they put toppings inside the waffle, but it was like slices of apple and egg and stuff because it was like a hand food, like a bagel.
Oh, okay.
And that was fun. And it was cool when they got a restaurant and they could do platings. They could start putting like, goat cheese and stuff or whatever on them. But I think that plus the price, what really upsets me, honestly, is just that they opened a second location and then changed their hours. And even having the Willamette location, they're both on Willamette, the South Eugene Willamette location, have lame hours sort of makes sense. Because the other one, they used to sell beer, I don't know if they still do, is also open 8 to 2. It used to be open till 10 though, but it just makes sense to have a waffle establishment right next to all of the bars open till 2 a.m. with all the other bars, or even, open till 3 if they're not going to serve alcohol or whatever, because you can, go get drunk at like midnight or whatever and be like, a waffle would be excellent at midnight. It's like a night toast at the country fair, like it's way cooler. Even though it's the same thing, even if it was the same thing with higher prices, it's way cooler because it's nighttime and you're intoxicated.
Yeah. No, I think nighttime waffles sound delicious.
And I agree. Guess that probably they don't make a lot of... Like, they picked 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. because that's the time people buy waffles. People probably don't come at 5 o'clock for, like, a breakfast item.
They're dinner waffles?
Yeah, I get that. But also, like, why not just... If you're going to do, like, a 6-hour shift, you own the business 24 hours of the day. Why not open it another 6 hours from, like... 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. or something, right? Like, just a little bit of that evening business. Yeah. And then if they did, karaoke or live music, because the downtown Off the Waffle is a big place. They could do something else with that. And maybe they do, I don't know. But they could do something else with that property for the other 18 hours a day that they own it that aren't doing it. It just seems like they're throwing, like they bought the property and they're throwing money away.
They're just throwing those waffles away.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm downtown... and I've had a few drinks, there's places that you go to, such as, you're like, oh, Voodoo Donuts is open all the time, and they have donuts, but you don't always want a donut.
Nope.
If you don't want a donut, then you're like, oh, man, okay, what else can I have? Well, I guess there's Red Wagon Creamery. You're like, okay, I could go get ice cream. But what if you don't want ice cream? Well, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, basically your option is Sizzle Pie, and that comes with losing your hearing.
Okay, and while we're at it, Killer Burger, why aren't you open later? Why not?
Yeah, what they close at like 10, right?
Yeah, 11, they close sooner than 10, I believe.
I think it's 10 on some nights, 9 on others.
Their latest, I think, is 10.
My God.
which
Yeah.
is cancer.
It is cancer. It's just like try. You have like a full bar. Why don't you just stay open till 2? Come on, don't be a dick. Kill your burger.
This is a compliment. You're so delicious. I wish you were.
I would love to have. You know what they do?
longer.
They do the happy hour from 3 to 5. How about another happy hour from 11 to 2?
Boom.
Are you kidding me? If I was out drinking and someone was like, "Hey, you're feeling kind of buzzed. How about bottomless fries? That's all the salt and fat I could ever want. Plus peanut butter pickle bacon burger for like, was it $5 on happy hour, $6, whatever it is. I don't care. I'll pay it.
They have a great happy hour.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's looking excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Speaking of,
locations you like to visit downtown. Another one I know you're a fan of, Leo.
Yes.
Dutch Bros. You go to all of them. You're like
I do.
you're like in love with Dutch Bros.
Yes.
And some of the very attractive barista type people who work there. I get that.
Yeah, there's one. She's my other girlfriend. I don't actually remember her name, but she works at one of the Dutch Bros downtown.
Yes. So where are we going with this? Where am I going? Oh, Dutch Bros gave out some of these Eclipse glasses like we're wearing. It was actually somehow these gimmick glasses sold out all over town. It was a real emergency.
Everywhere.
Dutch Bros was like, I don't know how long they were giving them away for. I feel like it was after they sold out. They were like, hey, we're just going to save the day. They came into this, buy a large coffee, get a free pair of glasses. And the glasses were like $3, so really you're paying $2 for the coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a free pair of the Eclipse glasses deal. And I don't know how many they gave out, but it seemed like even, really late yesterday, people were still saying, oh, go to the Dutch Bros. They still have some. They probably gave out several thousand pairs.
Yeah.
And then they put out a recall. Apparently, I don't know if they were like not strong enough to block the sun or if they were like flimsy or something, but apparently it was possible to damage your eyes while wearing these. And I just think that's hilarious. That's the whole story, really.
it was a move on their part. Really, they still had the ISO 123, the code that made them up. They were up to code.
Yeah.
But their issue was they were unsure about their manufacturer. So when they put out that recall, they were doing it not because they were 100% sure they wouldn't work, but because they thought maybe there's a chance they wouldn't be legit ones. And that's amazing on their part. And then they offered to compensate people with free coffee.
Oh, yeah. They said they'd refund the coffees, I think.
And people, if you looked at the Facebook posts on like KEZI News and even Dutch Bros' own post, people were pissed. They're like, it's a bunch of moms who waited till 4 a.m. And they're like, I got these glasses and they're defective. You owe me more. And it's like, why did you wait till 4 a.m. the night before to get the glasses when they were available at all the stores at least a month prior to the eclipse? And it was heavily advertised every day. You were hit with the eclipse is coming. The eclipse is coming. This is a classic mistake. The same way Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in Jingle All the Way, he didn't get the turbo doll soon enough. And then he's surprised when he has to go through this big ordeal to get his son, Jamie, the Turbo Man doll.
I don't know why. What's... When you started talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, I was like, which movie is this going to be? And a little bit, I was thinking, if it's the one where he gets pregnant, like, he could have had an abortion.
He could have. Yeah, that's an option.
Speaking of being pro-choice, Leo, is your choice top 5?
Oh, God.
Top 5 abortions?
Yeah.
This is gonna get messy.
Hitler. I mean, it's like fantasy football, top 5 fantasy abortions.
Okay. No.
Trump.
Me.
All of us.
Yeah, right. That's 5.
That's 5.
What is your top 5 today?
It would probably be my top 5 cocktails.
Top 5 cocktails.
Yeah.
Leo is a little bit of a drinker.
Yeah.
He has an issue.
A slight bit.
I just met him and I can tell.
Yeah, he's had like 2 sips of that beer during this hour of podcasting.
I do have a funny story about alcohol after my top 5.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Make it fast, though.
If we have time.
We have time.
So my top 5,
His story out.
my first cocktail is going to be a gin and tonic.
Now, okay, so question. This is important
Yes, sir.
because this is a ranked thing.
Oh, yeah.
Is that 5 or 1? And if that's 1, why are you starting with the best one?
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah, I'll... Ooh,
Save that.
Spoiler alert.
We don't know what
uno.
We don't know what number 1 is. Give us
Okay.
number 5.
So on the list of 5, I'm probably going to have to say Long Island iced tea.
Those are a good one. I mean, they taste like shit.
Yes, but the reason it is one of my favorite cocktails is because it's, if you want to drink something to
long-
get pretty
It'll get you there.
pretty toasted,
Are you gonna put that number 5?
That is number 5. That's
Give us
in the
number
5 spot.
4.
I actually like mojitos.
Ooh, I was gonna ask if you had a mojito. Mojitos are good.
Mojitos are quite good, actually.
Here's my mojito thing. Same about price as Long Island iced tea. It's usually about $8.
Mm-hmm.
But the bartender looks like they have to do so much shit to make a mojito. I always feel bad. Like one time we ordered 3 mojitos for our group, and it took the guy like, I don't know, several minutes, like longer than most cocktails take.
Yeah.
And what, I'm gonna tip harder because he worked harder? That sounds stupid.
No. I would probably have to say in the number 3 spot,
Give it
because
to
I
me.
already know 1 and 2. In
Give
the
me
number
number
3
3.
spot, and people may disagree with me on this, it's not necessarily a cocktail. I suppose it would fall into the niche, right?
If you put like a spirit with a mixer, you call it a cocktail.
A Jaeger bomb.
Sure, okay, yeah, why not?
They're not my go-to drink. I can't drink very many of them for
Mm.
reasons. I had a bad experience with Jaeger. There was
Haven't
way
we
too
all?
much consumed.
Wow.
But
He's the first person to ever have a bad Jaeger experience.
Jaeger bombs are fun.
I like Jaeger bombs.
My second
Give
favorite,
it to us. Now, is this the cocktail we made at your girlfriend's birthday?
the Scooby Snack.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the Scooby Snack.
It is a Scooby
What an
Snack.
excellent cocktail. And a weird reason to keep melon liqueur in your cabinet.
Yes.
Top 5 weird reasons
You're
to
like,
keep melon
Can
liqueur.
you tell me what a Scooby snack is? I
Why
have
do
no
you
idea.
have Midori?
Okay, so it's Midori.
Mm-hmm.
What's the liquor? Is it
Malibu rum.
Malibu rum? So it's Midori, Malibu rum, and pineapple juice, like the Dole pineapple juice.
Yeah.
And then I think you shake it up and it gets kind of foamy.
And cream.
Oh, cream. That's right. It's 4
Yes.
ingredients. Yeah. And it's kind of just tastes like, well, it tastes mostly like the melon rum or the Midori, the melon liqueur. But it has a bit of a tropical with the Malibu, because Malibu is like kind of coconut flavored, right?
Yes.
So it has a little bit of the tropical with the coconut and the pineapple flavor, and it's just a really refreshing tropical. You look at it, it looks green. The ingredients don't sound great. You're like, I'm not into this. It actually tastes excellent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well made. It's people will say, haha, tastes like a Scooby Snack. I've never had a Scooby Snack.
No, I don't. I think Scooby Snacks would taste more like biscotti or something.
Yeah.
Like there's some kind of baked treat. Or actually, I think when Scooby Doo first came out, flavor blasted goldfish, like the pizza flavored ones,
Right.
didn't exist. That's what Scooby Snacks taste like. Like they are flavor blasted for sure.
Flavor plastic.
Rawr.
goldfish.
That's my Scooby.
Wow.
But yeah, no, on the Scooby Snack, I'd recommend it. I know a lot of people, probably about half the people at the party were turned off when they asked, oh, what is a Scooby Snack? And you're like, oh, it's these ingredients.
But everyone liked it. There were no
Yeah.
people who didn't like that. I made it excellently.
They were delicious.
They're afraid to drink a quote unquote girly drink.
Well, and it's green. It's like slime green.
It's like,
Like,
Okay,
not,
never
not
mind.
lime, slime.
oh, I'll drink Mountain Dew all day, but drink this, no.
Yeah.
And my number 1 spot would have to be gin and tonic.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic. It's easy to make. You can sit back. It tastes like Christmas.
I'm
Amazing.
a Bombay Sapphire man myself. I feel
Yep.
like you are as well. My coworker, who's a little more cultured, he's Scottish. He spent a lot of time in the UK. They call them J&Ts over there. He found
Okay.
out I'm into J&Ts. First of all, he asked what kind of tonic water I like, which is like the cheap stuff. I didn't know. I
it's-
bought the Fever Tree one time. I swear it doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
It's just sugar water. But the other thing he asked was what my gin was, and he told me about this fancy gin called Hendrix. I looked for it in the liquor store. It's like twice the price of Bombay Sapphire, so I did not buy it.
I've
skipped
heard of
it.
Hendrix
Yeah.
gin.
Although I'm told, we could try it at a bar sometime, and it won't be as expensive.
It's a good idea.
So we're hitting that 40-minute mark. What are our final points? Did you have a story to tell?
Oh yeah, funny story about if any of you have ever had to do a drug and alcohol test, which is just a pee test, right? Well, when I took my drug test for my EMT basic, took it, passed it with flying colors, didn't even think twice. I had to go in and take a drug and alcohol test today, actually, just before we came in and did this peer review.
Now, obviously, although in Oregon now it's not illegal to smoke pot anyways, although some employers still, I guess for a federal employer, certainly they still want that.
Yeah.
But it's never illegal in the U.S. to drink alcohol once you're 21. So is it, does it only stay in your system for 24 hours? Is it to make sure you're not, drunk in the morning? Because I know when we did MEPS, they, in the morning they made us do a breathalyzer, but that wasn't like a pee test. That was like if you had all you had to do was be sober at MEPS. It wasn't.
So the alcohol that they're looking for ethyl alcohol in your system, and apparently a urine test can detect it 3 to 4 days later.
So yeah, but okay, so like because it's Monday, so if you had drinks on Saturday, do you get in trouble? Like, what's the deal?
I don't know. That was the funny thing that I wasn't so much stressed out about, because when I peed, it was like bright white and clear because I've been extremely hydrated this past couple of days.
Well, I've actually heard a couple people, because one of the things you can do is you can kind of detox, right? So like if you drink enough water quick enough, then what you end up peeing is just basically straight water. And they will actually, because there's a chemical in your pee that they test for to prove that it's pee.
Yeah.
They will actually throw it out and be like, no, you have to be a little more dehydrated. Like, I think I peed white on my test too. Like, that's fine. But if you drink too much water before the test, they'll be like, no, you're clearly trying to hide something.
Yeah, and he had, when I went in, I had gotten a small Rebel from Dutch Brothers, actually, and chugged that before I ate lunch and went over there, because I had peed at 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh, well, I got to refill, right?
Right.
So I went to pee, couldn't pee. Performance anxiety, right?
Sure, yeah, I've had that problem.
So I drank 2 tiny little, you've seen those tiny little Solo cups that they have, the little itty-bitty things? I drank 2 of those, and then peed like a racehorse after that, and it was a lot. And the guy,
like you fill in the cup and then you just go into town in the toilet.
Exactly. And the guy had actually told me you're not supposed to drink more than 8 of those little cups at one time, because it could dilute the sample. And I'm just thinking, like, well, if I drank it, if I only drank those 2 little tiny cups there, and I had that, how dilute is my sample if I've been extremely hydrated because I've been working outside all weekend? And so there were a couple of funny little concerns that I had about, peeing into a cup, which made me a little nervous.
Let me ask you about this, because I've done a pee test 2 times. One was at MEPS, and that was like 10 of us they had the urinals lined up there. You all face, so like you're looking at someone's back, and there's a guy at the front, and he watches all of you piss into the urinal. Because the thing is, like, they have to know that you're actually peeing. But when I did it for my current job, we just went into an office. The guy took me to the bathroom. He took my jacket and everything that was in my pockets, and he locked them up in a cabinet in the bathroom. Then he shut the door, and then he just left me with the cup, which is like a lot of privacy, but also like, maybe too much privacy for a pee test. Did he watch you pee or not?
So the first time I did, they did, or they didn't watch me pee, but I wasn't allowed to close the door.
Oh, well, that's fine.
This particular time, I had to do a full-blown, like, pat-down and show that I had nothing in my pockets, had to wash my hands, had to remove my sunglasses. And then he allowed me to close the door. So I think there's a little bit of leeway in the rules, but they adhere pretty much. I
mean, the full pat down seems like it would give you what they need to know, right?
Exactly.
Like if you're gonna have like a strap of like a pee on your leg or whatever. I had a coworker, and I've never looked this up or done any like proving, but I had a former coworker who told me, because they were a stoner all the time, they were always smoking pot, that they managed to cheat the test. Because like I said, if you drink like whatever's safe, I think drinking a whole gallon of water is dangerous, but like a liter of water or like whatever, all real quick before the test, then you're sitting in the office having to pee real bad while you wait for the guy to call you. But then you pee clean, but it's just straight water. It's not even pee. So what they told me was you take 2 things. One is basically a dye that makes it come out yellow, and the other is the chemical that they're testing for in pee, so that it shows up positive as pee, even though it's just plain water. And they said if you take like 2 pills basically that have those chemicals or whatever, drink a whole bunch of water, you'll piss yellow water that tests like pee. I've never tried. I passed drug tests, with my own talent.
Is this friend of yours named Lars?
Yeah, the Lars.
Schwiegenduger? I'll get your name one of these days. Don't worry.
Yeah, you won't. So had you ever heard about that or considered it?
I had never heard of that. I had never considered it. I have gone through anatomy and physiology for my paramedic preparations, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually work like that.
I mean, it's possible that they were just telling a story for fun, or I know many people who like their immune, or not their immune system, their like whatever system is so fast. Because, they say pot stays with you for a couple months, but, I've known people who are like, yeah, I smoked pot 3 days ago. I did my thing for rehab and I peed clean. So, like, they might have thought that worked and then also just magically peed clean anyways. It could be anything, but...
You could technically pee clean through a lot of, through diluting it by drinking a lot.
I was going to say just metabolism, if you just...
Also that,
Yeah.
But the thing about, like, the chemical that they're testing for to make sure it's pee is uric acid. And you can't exactly take a uric acid pill because your body doesn't process it, like, just dumping it straight into your pee from your stomach.
Well, I feel like Bree lied to me, and I'm calling you out here, Bree. You're kind of a liar. So there's only one Bree in all of Eugene and the Wayne County area. You know who you are.
I have a friend named Bree.
There's like 300 of them. It's
Yeah,
a popular name.
I think my sister knows like 5.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Really quick, you walked in here eating a bagel.
Yeah.
Was that a celebratory poppy seed bagel in honor of passing your drug test?
Ooh, that'd be clever.
No, that was a blueberry bagel.
All right.
Is that what they're calling them on the street now?
I did consider
Heisenberg
that
blueberry.
for my first drug test. I was like, so I ate like a couple poppy seed muffins in the past week. Am I gonna test positive for opium?
I ate like 20 of them, so it might come out positive.
I had a teacher. We did a blood drive. God, in like 3rd grade. I don't know if any of us were giving blood or what the deal was, but the teacher was talking about it. And talking about how they really liked the lemon poppy seed muffins, and so they couldn't, they couldn't ever give blood. And like, if you knew you were planning a blood drive, you could give up your muffins for a month. I'm pretty sure my teacher was just doing heroin. It's like if I had to teach middle school, I wouldn't do that without something to cut the entire edge off, and that's, as far as I understand it, how heroin works.
I wouldn't know.
Some might argue that female teachers are heroines.
Wow.
Boom.
I think we're going to move into our closing statements. Dan, would you please get out the cards?
All right, here we go. We play every now and then. We close an episode. Actually, every episode so far. We play a game of I've Never.
Oh.
I have secured my Eclipse glasses, so I am playing fully blind. I will not know the answers of my coworkers.
Oh.
So the way this works, Leo, the cards, it's just the never have I ever, whatever cards. If you've done it, you raise your hand. We always get that confused.
Okay.
You don't have to tell the audience. You can if you want to, but they don't actually know. So it's kind of pointless for them listening at home. It's entirely anonymous.
And much like an actual game of Never Have I Ever, I've Never, it's only interesting when there's females present. But,
yeah, this is, I mean, sometimes you fist bump each other. You're like, hey, good job.
There are no ladies, so this is going to be an all-male game of I've Never.
The penises will touch.
So starting off with number 1, I've never kissed a member of the same sex, and then it says in parentheses, on the lips.
Oh. No, I've kissed a lot of guys.
All right.
Next.
I've never worn another person's underwear. One of them are thinking about it.
Is that Leo?
So wait. So you raise your hand if you have done it?
Yeah.
All right.
Wow. That's telling about this room.
Well, then I guess I have to take the other one back.
What?
Did you kiss a guy or not?
All right.
I'll never
Lastly,
know. I've got the
we're
Eclipse
closing it
glasses.
with I've never wished for a bigger dick. Well, I mean, like...
I feel like it's lying to not raise your hand, but I'm trying to think of if I've actually done that or not.
Like prayed to God?
Well, no, I've never. No, I don't. I'm a bit of an. I'm agnostic, and it's truly important to me. So please don't.
No, I know, but if
please don't
someone's...
trash on my spiritual beliefs.
But if
Dan.
someone's dying or you want a snow day really bad...
Yeah, I don't. I say, dear nothing that doesn't exist.
I think the only time I've prayed is for a snow day, and that's it.
No, I think definitely like.
I've prayed once, and it was not for a bigger dick. It was like to find my fucking squirt gun that my mom hid when I was like 8.
Wow.
That bitch.
I was afraid we were going to get too existential at the end, but really, it's squirt guns and wishing for snow days.
I had a couple of cats run away, and I did actually pray for them to come back. I'm thinking about it though, like, and this is getting a little graphic. I know, like, when I wasn't an adult, a little prepubescent, I was like, man, I wish I had like a larger dick because it's still growing.
Yeah.
So I know I've done that, so I'll raise my hand for that.
Okay.
Thinking about child
in that
penis,
regards. All right. Well,
Leo was born with a huge dick.
Giant dong.
Just fucking
that's how he
grotesque.
fights. That's how he fights those fires.
Yeah, dude.
Just bats his dick on
no, if I'm like, I'm all out of hose, I got a couple more.
Do
It's
you,
like
do you helicopter?
No, I have just a couple
He's
more
like,
feet.
blow it
It's
out.
like the little mini pistol you keep on strapped to your leg, just in case.
Oh, that's where the water gun went.
Wow. Well,
this is our first episode under an hour. Good job, guys.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll golf clap it. That's fine. It's a little pretentious, but we're doing it.
contact
Wait, wrong
us.
one? Okay.
Oh,
Contact us at momentsagostudios@gmail.com. You can find Lars or Moments Ago Studios at Lars in the Studio
on Instagram.
on Instagram. You can find me at Dan Koss.
That's KOSS. Then you do it again. Dan Koss on Instagram.
Where can we find you?
Boom. I think it's at Leo Jenkins on
It is
Instagram.
Leo
right?
Jenkins. That's with a J and then an Enkins. You can figure it out. Just spell it.
Figure it out.
Follow me. I'm following him.
We'll put it in the links. And one last thing I want to say is Cornucopia on 5th and Pearl. A lovely establishment. I know the people, but that's not why I think it's lovely. They have great food, great
Yeah,
drinks.
that's the good one.
And every Monday at 9 p.m., they have Mixed Media Mondays where you get to drink and draw funny things, and the cooks judge the drawings, and you win some sweet prizes. I won a, a Jägermeister portable charger. I won a deck of cards. You win free beers at Cornucopia.
Damn.
So check it out. They're looking to bring in more people, and I like to shout that out.
Excellent. And of course, it is Monday night now, but the episode probably won't air till Tuesday or well after 9 p.m. So,
You might see me there.
not this week.
Well,
Next week.
well,
You might see him there, but it's not because you heard about it in this.
No, that's
podcast.
Labor Day, actually. So shout out to Labor Day next Monday.
Monday.
It's going to be Labor Day.
I just wanted to clarify though, because I did say that's the good one. The other cornucopia on like 13th, 14th, 15th, kind of near Washington, but not quite Washington, Lincoln, whatever. I can't even remember what street it's on. Shittiest burger in town. So it's weird. One cornucopia is great, one's bad. I think everyone who's been to that cornucopia knows the customer service sucks, the burgers suck. I don't know. Like, dear cornucopia corporate marketing team, fix that one, because it's the one you've had for the longest at this point, and it's clearly the shittiest.
Cornucopia, you know I love you. I love all the Corn fam. Do have a bias towards the 5th and Pearl because I love the people there.
I liked the maze. Then it Level Up bought it out, so it may not have been successful, but I personally enjoyed the maze. I have enjoyed the original cornucopia over there in the Whitaker, where it was more of like a cafe. They had like the pesto pasta. They had the frogwort bread. That was excellent. You fucked up. You fucked up with that cornucopia on whatever. You know the one. It's the shitty one by not Washington Park, the other park. You know the shitty cornucopia, and you know you fucked up. So,
well, there you go.
That's 1 out of 4.
Strong opinions from a weak man.
If you're like, hey, what were those scores again? Peer-reviewed beerreview.tumblr.com. There'll be a graphic.
There you
Dan's
go.
going to do a half star.
Here we go again.
3.5 out of 300. There are 300 stars. Also, whatupeugene.tumblr.com. It's the same account for us, but they're 2 different links.
So many links. And we'll have them all on the blog.
Yeah, if you're on the SoundCloud, which, by the way, if you're thinking I don't listen to your podcast because SoundCloud sucks, we're going to get on Google Play and iTunes soon. We're figuring out. We're doing the logistics. But if you're on the SoundCloud, there's just all these links there. There's links on the blog. It should be links on Instagram. I'm going to let Dan start doing the Instagram for me, and then he'll do the links.
All right. Well,
I've got
thank
a
you all for
ghostwriter.
listening to Eugene's #1 podcast. And thank you, Leo, for coming on tonight.
Thanks
today.
for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for putting the fire out in my pants. You know what I'm saying?
Studios.